afternoon everyone, welcome back to the Nature Patch. My name is Robyn and thank you for joining in on another video. It has been already kind of a crazy weekend, even though it's only Saturday night, but we have been continuously moving throughout the past week and moving all of the garden over here as well, so that has taken up a lot of time. Moving is definitely not fun, but we're slowly getting there, and I wanted to kind of give a little bit of an update on what the garden is looking like and what kind of things I'm growing in kind of this intermediate time of having a garden, and I'm yet to start the garden behind you all as well. And I thought I would take this opportunity and this vlog to talk about small space gardening and a few little tips on how to get started if you are in a smaller space and what you can only grow in is pots. It's really where I started out gardening, and I thought I would share a few tips with you all and also plant a few things in the pots behind me. I've got a few things to plant today, and corn is one of the main things that I'll be planting. The corn is really ready to go in the ground, so that's the first thing that I'm going to be planting in the pots. But before I start, I thought I'd give you a little bit of an overview of kind of what I have growing here at the moment. I've got a few more plants over in this area here, and then the pool area at the moment. I've got some carrots that I need to harvest there that are going to be for an upcoming video, and a few more plants up the back there. But the bulk of my plants right now are here and on the front balcony as well, that I'll show you. I should also mention it has been so hot here lately. Today was 38 degrees and it is about 5 o'clock now and it's still 34 degrees. So I'm pushing through. I really should have cleaned the pool so I could have gone for a swim, but some of the plants kind of have had a little bit of moving shock and aren't in the best of shape. But what I do have planted here is some mint. Mint is definitely one of the best things that I would always recommend growing in pots, unless you want it to take over your whole garden. But the mint here that I've got is nice and contained in the pot. You just want to make sure that sometimes it can actually spread to other pots with all of the shoots that it sends out. It can root really easily, but I just need to give this a little bit of a trim back and it'll come back as good as new. It's still fine, but I can see that the pot's quite dry right now. It has had a bit of sun damage. I've also got some lavender here. I love incorporating lavender in and around my garden just because I love the scent of lavender. Even the leaves smell really beautiful. And it also helps to bring in some beneficial pollinators and insects to the garden. Chives, hands down, some of my favorites to also grow in pots. These ones are actually starting to flower now, and some have already gone to flower. And what I do after it's flowered, I just sprinkle it back into the pot. And those seeds come up with new shoots as well. I'll quickly run through the rest. I've got some lemon balm here. I love putting lemon balm into my iced water. It has such a beautiful flavour and scent to it. And all I do is just scrunch it up like that and put it into my cup of water. And I've got a whole video on lemon balm and some of the health benefits of lemon balm too. That is today's job there, to plant the corn in this little container. And I've also got some oregano and some more lavender here. This, I'm going to be taking out all of these and actually planting another 4 corn plants in here because I want these two next to each other because corn pollinates through wind. So I kind of want to make like a block shape with the pots that I have here. My blueberry bush is starting to get a few blueberries on it. Starting to see a few little blueberries come there. I've also got some dahlias in here that are actually loving being in pots. This is the first time I've grown dahlias in pots, but they seem to be doing pretty well. And just some more spearmint down there. And then up above here, I need to repot these into a bigger pot, but these are just my 2 native Australian mints. Absolutely beautiful, and just I would highly recommend seeing what type of native mint can grow in your area if you wish to kind of add some more bush tucker into your garden. And the goal for this here is to get some edible plants, some low growing edible plants all along this area here, because it's really easy to just walk up and pinch some as we walk past, and it's also really near to the house as well. So again, incorporating those permaculture principles of having the food that you reach for most, having really close to your house. And then all of this area here gets a lot of shade, so I also want to plant some more little bush tucker plants up there. Maybe some native raspberries up there would do really well, and just kind of landscape this area a little bit more. So that is pretty much the extent of what I'm growing right now. I've actually got a few more plants on the front balcony that I'll put a little overlay of here. I've got some jalapenos that I've been harvesting and adding to my Mexican dishes, which I'm absolutely loving. And there's also a few citrus out there. I also need to bring over my other dwarf lemon tree, and that's kind of the area that I'm going to be starting a lot of seeds because it is basically in the house and really close by. So I want to make use of that space as best as I can. And then behind me here is the big project that we're going to be working on in the coming month or two, is pretty much creating a full permaculture garden down here using different permaculture principles that I've talked about in my previous videos, and creating a few swales down this hill here and planting lots of food. So that's kind of an update on where all the plants are and what I'm growing at the moment. So I'm going to sit down now and plant some corn and just have a little bit of a chat about small space gardening and just a few little points about small space gardening that will hopefully inspire you if you don't have a large space but you do want to get started with the garden. Hopefully some of these tips will help you out. Yeah, and I can't believe that I forgot at the start of the video, but totally make sure you've got your cup of tea or coffee or whatever beverage you like. I'm going for an iced coffee this afternoon, which I'm probably going to have to go get some water as well because it is very sweaty out here. Alrighty, hopefully you can see and hear me okay. I have my trusty little $20, I think it was, $20 raised bed that I bought from Bunnings. I can't seem to find these on the website, but I know I kind of went into a few different Bunnings and sometimes they had them, sometimes they didn't. I think I got this one from the Oxley Bunnings, so you can try there if you're in the Brisbane area, but they're really great because they've got wheels, so I can pretty much just move them around and they hold a really decent amount of plants as well. So I think a lot of people have this perception that you can't grow corn in pots, but it can definitely be done. You just want to make sure that you have a big enough space for your corn and that it can be located really close to other corn, or you can work on hand pollinating it as well. But corn typically needs a lot of water and pots do dry out a lot. So generally the bigger the pot, the more amount of water is going to be stored in there. If you're having a pot, say kind of like the size of this bin, it's going to dry out a lot faster. This one here has a decent amount of volume, so hopefully I'm not going to have to water it as much as some of the smaller pots. But I'm going to be placing 4 corn in here, just like this little grid here, and so that I'll have another one of these right next to it, and hopefully the wind can help pollinate those. With corn you can plant it a tiny little bit deeper, just to give it a little bit more stability with the wind as well. Corn likes full sun as well, but that being said, I've actually done really well growing corn at the previous place, where the corn actually didn't really get any afternoon sun, just morning sun, and it did fine. But if you are in a cooler or temperate area, I definitely suggest putting this in a sunny location if you can. So I was going to add some food scraps to this, but it looks like the soil is pretty good in this here. I have been adding food scraps to this regularly, and then it just basically decomposes in here. I can't find any as I dig down, and that's just adding more nitrogen, and the worms do their thing in here. And I'm going to be planting these, putting soil everywhere, but I'm just going to be planting these in here. So I'm going to get onto that and then we can have a chat after that because I'm really not great at multitasking. So the corn is all planted. Corn is a little bit of a heavy feeder, so I would definitely recommend using a really good quality potting mix, or homemade compost is really great to add into a subpar potting mix. And mulch as well is really key in southeast Queensland. So I'm going to be mulching this corn with sugarcane mulch once I go and get it from the other place, just because corn does like a lot of water. It is a very thirsty plant, so you want to make sure that for most things that you're growing in pots in a smaller space, that you want to utilize mulch. It'll save you a lot of water and keep your plants a lot happier. So I've kind of decided on my channel to do a little bit of a series, I suppose, on small space gardening, I think it would be really valuable because a lot of people that I know around me and that might watch these videos have a little bit of a smaller space. And me personally, I don't have a really large space to have a really productive garden at the moment. Before, obviously, I create a garden, but in the meantime, I just always love to have something growing in the background. Even a few little tiny herbs really makes such a difference in trying to eat better and eat fresh and get as many vitamins and minerals that you can from your homegrown produce. So over the coming weeks, I will be sharing some tips on growing specific plants. So if you do have any that you'd really like me to cover, definitely leave a comment down below and I can do a video on it. But it is really where I started. My love for gardening was in pots, and for a lot of people this year has also been a year of starting to grow your own food in pots or on balconies, and realizing that it is so worth it to kind of even just grow a few different herbs on your windowsill or balcony. It makes a world of a difference, both for your physical health and your mental health as well. So I'll be sharing some of my favorite things to grow, how to grow certain fruits and vegetables, what to grow and how to decide what to grow, and also just some videos on how to maintain different plants in pots as well that might need a little bit of an extra help but can definitely be grown in pots as well. So I hope you're excited for a few videos like that, and I'm also going to be doing some vlogs as well of getting that garden over there sorted and hopefully getting some productive corn in these two beds here. If you've made it this far to the video, let me know if you've ever tried growing corn in pots as well. I'd love to know if you've had any success, and if you've got any tips for me or anyone else watching this video, definitely leave them in the comments down below, because I really like to share knowledge down there and share different gardening stories that we all have. So I am going to head on side and probably have a shower and cool down and clean the pool so we can have a swim in there tomorrow, because it's going to be 37 degrees again. Not fun when I also need to do the mowing, so we'll see how that goes. But I really hope you're all doing well wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely make sure to check out my Instagram if you want to see a few more daily updates on what's happening, what I'm picking from the garden. And until my next video, happy gardening everyone. Bye.